Okay. Hello. I'm Chris. I want to talk to you about a game jam I did with some friends where a book about crystals manifested itself into a video game. First, if you're a nerd, keep an eye out for how many crystals you see in the presentation. The first person to tell me the right number is going to win this USB-powered crystal lamp that I found at Goodwill today. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to use the keyboard. Okay. So a group of friends and I who had never worked together on a game project decided to rent Airbnb and in the middle of Texas and for a weekend just spend some time together and make a game together. This was the Airbnb that we went to. It was very cool. There was a hot tub, but it did not get hot. And when we got there, the first thing you do in Airbnb is to snoop around and try to figure out through environmental storytelling who the people are that own the Airbnb. So pretty much immediately I found this book, The Crystal Bible by Judy Hall, which turned out to be really interesting and to kind of dramatically change the course of our entire weekend. The first half of this book is a history of crystals, the geological formation of crystals, and the cultural relevance, and like what is the kind of mystic belief system behind these, like what do they do, how do they work, etc. And then the rest of it is a glossary of all the different types of crystals that they are and what they do. And I'm kind of a cynical, realist kind of guy, so when I see something that I think is stupid like this, I kind of dig in as deep as possible and read it and start making jokes and just like, you know, kind of trying to make everybody laugh. So let me show you kind of what's in this book. First off, we got blue kyanite. This facilitates dream recall, increases capacity for logical thought, and is useful for performers and public speakers. Fire agate improves night vision, aids sexual endeavors, resolves tummy aches, dispels fear and insecurity. Hematite is beneficial for legal situations and helpful in the study of mathematics, but also strengthens and regulates blood supply. So actually, wait, like this is pretty cool. These are really specific, and in the book, each of these pages has paragraphs and paragraphs about the specific things that each of these crystals does, and it's really like specific to the point where it felt like this couldn't just be Judy Hall making shit up, and it implies this kind of historical conversation between crystal believers that is really fascinating. And culturally, like just from the names of crystals and the descriptions, you get this weird implied relationship between the regions of the world that crystals come from, and like you can kind of tell that the religious beliefs from different parts of the world relate to crystals that you might find in that region. Also very cool. The third thing, which I think about a lot still, is there's this weird interconnectedness between different mystic belief systems that everybody kind of knows about. So like zodiacs and chakras and the moon cycles and feng shui and stuff, like crystals affect all of these things and are made more powerful or less powerful by how, you know, related all these things are. And so I found all of this stuff deeply interesting and weird, but also still funny. Like it didn't take away the funny part. So I'm making jokes all day. Everybody's getting sick of my jokes. And so eventually we decide to actually make the game. So let's pick some themes. As you do, we write down a bunch of themes on all these pieces of paper and then pick some. Surprise, crystals is one of our themes. So we decide, okay, let's lean into this really hard, and we start making the game. And as we're doing the things you do when you make a game, asking the questions about what the game is and designing the bits, it became funnier and funnier to answer everything with crystals. And it also was kind of useful. It like helped us get into this easy flow where like if there's any friction or questions were hard to answer, what if crystals was the answer? Like, does that help us? And it also helps with cohesion. Like the game started to feel like it was all going in one direction, was all of one idea. And it helped us kind of stay on the same page. We all trust each other and like believe in each other's skills and design sensibility, but like all being on the same page about this stupid crystal in-joke while making the game made things weirdly easy and made the game kind of really fun to work on and this one continuous joke. So by the last night of the jam, we were feeling different about crystals, like weirdly grateful. They had given us a lot for this game, and I was feeling guilty about making fun of these people so much, so I kind of asked everybody, like, how do we, what do people get out of this? Like, what is the thing that people find interesting and useful about crystals? And so there's three answers, which I unironically think is true. So first is introspection, like asking who am I through the lens of crystals, looking at this grid of crystals, each with their different weirdly specific details about what they might change about your life, and then picking one and saying, this is what I need right now, is like weirdly useful. Also, when you talk to friends, like you can relate to them through asking them, like, what crystals do you have? Like, what would be helpful in your life? And you can kind of figure out who they are. And that's really cool. But also, you can use this to manifest your future in a really weird way, like actually change your life. And this is something I do now with crystals. Every day when I wake up, I have crystals in my apartment that I picked out because they represent things that I want to be in the future, like the person I want to become. And when I sit down at my desk to work, I like rub a crystal that's about leadership and instilling trust in the team that I work with on games. And my decisions for the rest of the day are kind of a result of like this first thought I have in the morning, like I want to be a good leader, I want people to trust me. And so we're feeling grateful. And I want to leave you guys with the big lesson I learned from this, which is making fun of silly ideas is really fun. But also there can be more under the surface, so it's useful to kind of stay open to new ideas. And while I think that judgment is okay and often is the safest option in the fucked up world that we live in, if you keep an open heart about it, you're gonna kind of be more humanist, and you're gonna like be more interesting to talk to. You're gonna be less of a dick. You're gonna have more ideas and influences in your toolbox when you're making art in the future, and that's really cool. So that's my talk. This is what we learned from crystals. Thank you for listening. This is the game, Crashland Crystal. It's free, so you can Google it and go play it on itch.io. And here's the team. If you worked on this game, raise your hand. Give these guys a shout out. And also talk to them about crystals. They can help you find the right crystal for you. Thank you.